We will now discuss about the need and the interconnectedness of 21st century skills at various age groups. An individual's needs of skills sets vary at different age groups. Some may be thinking the skill sets are same for everybody, but it is not so. I'm going to explain you in detail about how it varies from age to age. The skills required by an adolescent may differ from the ones required by a preteen. However, one important point to note is that whatever may be the age level, an individual's personality develops through effective inculcation of 21st century skills. And all these skills are inseparable. That is very important. Everything is interconnected and it develops in cohesion with each other. For example, let us take the social skill. It is a part of life skill, and communication skill comes under the learning skills. But the development of social skills will be incomplete without developing the effective communication skills. So now we can see that they are all interdependent and interrelated. Similarly, a creative person is more likely to be self-directed and innovative, and research has also proven that the innovations are often done through collaboration. So all these skills are interrelated. And now I'm going to explain you in detail about how it is going to be for different age groups. So here we are going to discuss about the need and interconnectedness of 21st century skills at various age groups. We will discuss the mutual connectedness of core life skills and the components of 21st century skills for the development of an individual self at different age groups. I'm going to talk about 3 to 5 years, 6 to 10 years, 11 to 13 years, and 14 to 18 years. So now let us start with 3 to 5 years. So here, first we are going to see the dimensions of self of an individual, core life skills, 21st century skills, and the learning outcomes. The first one for the 3 to 5 years is understanding and expressing self. The core life skill is the self-awareness, and the 21st century skill is the communication. And what are all the learning outcomes? It identifies the parts of human body, expresses needs and emotions, demonstrates personal hygiene, recognizes safe and unsafe touch, and seeks help. And enhancing self is related to the problem solving skill and also critical thinking and communication of this 21st century skill. And what are all the outcomes? It solves problems by demonstrating curiosity, exploration, and observation. Then dimensions of self of an individual: building and maintaining relationships. So core life skill is managing emotions. And 21st century skill is communication, social skills, thinking, flexibility, etc. So here the learning outcome will be approaches and response to people beyond primary caregiver, and also interacts with objects in the environment. This is for 3 to 5 years. And now coming to the 6 to 10 years, dimensions of self, let us talk about the understanding and accepting self. Core life skill, what they acquire is self-awareness, effective communication, and decision making. And the 21st century skill is the critical thinking. The learning outcomes are demonstrates positive view of self, demonstrates positive body image, and celebrates oneself, and identifies what is he or she good at and where help is required, and also recognizes gender stereotypes. This is for 6 to 10 years. Next, coming to managing and expressing self, that is for 6 to 10 years. So here we can see that core skills development are self-awareness, effective communication, managing emotions, critical thinking, decision making, and problem solving. The 21st century skills developed is social skills and adaptability. So the learning outcomes are demonstrates healthy habits, identifies needs and emotions, expresses needs and emotions assertively, respects boundaries for self and others, differentiates between safe and unsafe behaviors, and participates in staying safe. Then coming to the enhancing self is self-awareness, effective problem solving. And 21st century skills is social skills, communication, critical thinking, and creative thinking. And the learning outcomes are explores their area of interest, represents ideas using expressive forms, participates in class activities involving speaking in front of groups, participates in group activities using interaction skills, and takes responsibilities in classroom activities. Then for 6 to 10 years, dimensions of self is building and maintaining relationships, improves the core skills of empathy, interpersonal relationships and problem solving, and improves the 21st century skill of critical thinking, creative thinking, communication, and taking initiative. And the learning outcomes are demonstrates understanding of others viewpoints and emotions, respects differences and diversity, demonstrates alignment with collective goals, contributes in achievement of collective goals, exhibits sharing and caring behavior towards family and friends, and cares for the environment. Now coming to 11 and to 13 years, 11, 12, 13. So here dimensions of self, understanding and accepting self improves the core skill of decision making, self-awareness and problem solving, and also improves the 21st century skill of critical thinking, creative thinking, social skills, effective communication, and also the learning outcomes are describes physical, psychological, and socio-economical changes in self and peers, and it demonstrates comfort with changes during adolescence, and also explains strategies to enhance strengths to and improve upon weaknesses, and expresses what he or she values about oneself. Then dimensions of self, managing and expressing self, the core skill improvement will be self-awareness, managing emotions, decision making, problem solving, and empathy. And the 21st century skill improvement will be on communication, creative thinking, social skills, critical thinking, information or technology literacy, and media literacy. The learning outcomes will be displays healthy habits consistently, demonstrates healthy expression of needs, thoughts, and emotions, demonstrates ownership of one's actions, manages expectations of self and others to prevent stress, and discerns different influences, peers or media, and makes informed and responsible choices. Then comes the enhancing self as dimensions of self that will improve the core skills of self-awareness, decision-making, problem-solving, interpersonal relationships, and empathy. And it improves the 21st century skills of communication, creative thinking, critical thinking, flexibility, initiative taking, and productivity. And the learning outcomes will be exhibits readiness to work and interact with diverse groups, demonstrates a multiple constructive roles in diverse settings, participates in interest-based projects demonstrating innovation and creativity, manages routines and resources. And then building and maintaining relationship will improve self-awareness, managing emotions, empathy, interpersonal relationships, decision making, and problem solving. And it improves the 21st century skills of critical thinking, effective communication, and creative thinking. It has many learning outcomes like identifies the positive relationships, identifies harmful relationships, deals effectively with harmful relationships to reduce or minimize harm, builds harmonious relationships with friends, family, and environment, and states commonalities with the group and individual uniqueness, identifies stereotypes and stigmas in day-to-day life, and also questions and challenges the stigmas and the stereotypes and builds arguments around it, and also identifies courses of conflicts and responds appropriately and make responsible decisions about sexual behavior too. Then coming to understanding and accepting self will improve the self-awareness, decision making, problem solving, managing emotions, empathy. These are all for 14 to 18 years. And 21st century skills that will be improved on this dimensions of self will be social skills, critical thinking, creative thinking, communication, information technology, media literacy, etc. And the learning outcomes will be relates to various experiences of growing up that have contributed to their development, demonstrates and expresses comfort with all aspects of their personality, including the individual differences, and accesses information and analyzes it to distinguish between the facts and myths, and questions or challenges myths, and demonstrate behavior informed by scientific thinking, and also demonstrates individual and social identity that he values. And then for 14 to 18 years, enhancing self will improve the empathy, self-awareness, managing emotions, problem solving, interpersonal skills and relationships, etc. And the 21st century skills improvement will be on critical thinking, creative thinking, and communication. And the learning outcomes will be, it makes a healthy choices related to hygiene, nutrition, and physical activity, and also analyzes different influences and makes informed and responsible choices in interest of self and also others, and also demonstrates skills to manage emotions effectively and minimizes stress by identifying and delivering on realistic expectations, and recognizes, resists challenges, seeks help, reports concerns and incidents of safety and security related to self and others. Then also it analyzes thoughts and does not engage in behaviors that compromise safety and security of self and others, and also demonstrates responsible behaviors that minimize risk and reduce harm, and accesses and provides support individually and also collectively when required. Then managing and expressing self will improve the self-awareness, decision-making, problem-solving, interpersonal relationships, and empathy. And the life skills, the 21st century skills improvement will be on communication, creative thinking, and critical thinking. And the learning outcomes will be exhibits personal and interpersonal skills necessary for independent living, and identifies goals, motivates self, plans and manages resources to achieve them, and motivates self and team members to achieve shared goals, and also exhibits language to communicate about their skills, knowledge, and career potential. So these are all the things which helped us to understand that all these 21st century skills are different way it helps different age groups. And thank you so much for listening. I hope this video will throw a lot of light on 21st century skills, how it impacts on different age groups. Stay blessed, my dear ladies and gentlemen, and my dear students.